Okay, Mamma Mia, Papa Pia, hope you don't have a gonorrhea. Are you
Isn't that a
kidding
great
me?
title? Isn't that a great
Amazing.
title?
Now I have to
Like Hanky
make a
Panky
marker here.
Frankie,
Alright, wait, hold
Asha
on.
Dasha. Summary. What happens when Mario and Donkey Kong have secretly loved each other for decades and have a pubescent
trying to-
fantasy-esque romp around the bedroom? Find out in this humorous yet strangely arousing tale of two heroes past their prime. Round brown eyes flick to and from the clock to the door.
You missed that
The clock
notes.
ticked. What?
You missed the notes.
Who cares? The clock ticked steadily on, and the eyes followed the movement of the second hand as it went around the face again and again, while the door stayed uncomfortably still. 5 white toes kept tapping the rough wooden floor, sending small tremors throughout that treehouse with each thump. A bright red tie hung around a thick, hairy neck and lay against a massively broad chest. To go along with the short breaths, the chest moved quickly and silently, but to its owner, it felt like the heart inside was thudding hard, like his bongo drums. What is it? What's going on?
I don't know what happened.
For such an imposing figure, Donkey Kong had never been more nervous in his life.
What fanfic are you reading?
It's
The one
called
that I
Mamma
posted.
Mia, Papa Pia, hope you don't have gonorrhea. That's the name
Minutes
of the
ticked by
fanfiction.
without incident. The treehouse was looking unusually clean. There were no banana peels lying about, though there was a sizable pile of bananas themselves next to the bed, which was freshly made, and the table was sporting what looked like a self-made tablecloth. Fibers stood out every inch or so, and the lines on the checkerboard pattern were off, but it was the best Donkey Kong could do with his mediocre tools. Just as Donkey Kong's eyes were counting all of the loose fibers again, a soft rap on the door caused him to jump with such alarm that the tie around his neck flapped up and hit him in the face. "Hello?" came a soft voice outside. "It's me!" Straightening his tie again, Donkey Kong walked quickly over to the door to let in his guest. The door
Why is it so hard to play?
Mario fanfic.
The door creaked loudly as it swung inwards to reveal the red-capped, bushy-mustached man Donkey Kong had been anticipating. Donkey Kong grunted happily in greeting. "Ah, hello, DK. It's good to see you," grinned a bright-eyed Mario. "May I come inside?" "Who's?" Donkey Kong shifted quickly out of the way, noticing the big steel platter in Mario's hands for the first time as the plumber stepped through the doorway. A tantalizing aroma found its way into Donkey Kong's nostrils, which widened considerably to take in the delicious, spicy scent. "Ah, you seem to be enjoying my cooking already, eh?" said Mario, seeing the platter on the table. "Mama's recipe! I think you'll enjoy it." They both sat down and Mario took the lid off the platter. "Ta-da!" said Mario with a flourish of his arm. He looked up at Donkey Kong to find him staring hungrily not at his delicious spaghetti and meatballs, but into his eyes. Mario stared back for a moment before smiling knowingly at the hulking ape before him. "I see. So these were not the meatballs you were looking forward to."
Oh my god.
Mario sighed at Donkey Kong's forwardness, but on the inside he was rather thrilled himself. It was the first time in a long time that they had seen each other after all, and his own desire had been starting to stutter impatiently inside of him. He pulled out his chair and had barely gotten to his feet when Donkey Kong had moved up next to him and swept him up off the ground. Grunted Donkey Kong excitedly, feeling his animalistic need spur within his groin, and carried him to the bed. "Mamma mia, DK, you really are impatient," called Mario, grinning at the towering Kong holding him. The ape firmly but gently placed him upright on the bed, and without further ado, kissed him. Mario could taste the bananas on his breath, but he didn't care. He loved it. He had been waiting so long for this. He pushed himself further against the beast's chest, crushing the carefully flattened tie between them, and wrapped his hands as far as he could around Donkey Kong's soft brown back hair. their tongues intertwined like contortionists as their lips gripped at each other. They broke, and Mario, drawing one of the mysterious strength that had made him such a hero in the Mushroom Kingdom, took hold of Donkey Kong's midriff and spun him down onto the bed beside him, using the momentum to situate himself on the ape's waist. DK? Mario sighed, breathless with arousal, and Donkey Kong
Nintendo fanfic or something.
could only stare
Yes,
entranced at the
it's
plump,
Mamma Mia.
portly plumber who had pilfered his heart so perfectly. Mario took off his hat and threw it, ruffling his thick hair, and the hat bounced once before landing next to the table. Donkey Kong sat up, catching Mario's back with his huge beastly hands and pulled himself up face to face with Mario. Mario took off his right glove and caressed Donkey Kong's face gently. "My Kong," he whispered before he closed the gap between them once again. Their tongues resumed their fierce wrestle, grappling each other here and there like vermi lucha libres. Mario tore off his other glove, which joined the hat near the table, and grabbed the back of the ape's head, pulling him further towards him in such a way as to almost merge Mario's skull with this. Donkey Kong fell backwards on the bed. They broke their kiss once more, and Mario sat back on Donkey Kong's waist again, feeling an immense pressure beneath him. Mario's mouth opened in a slight breathless smile as he unbuttoned the suspenders on his dungarees. Donkey Kong watched the suspenders slip unsupported down Mario's front, and his eyes drank in the sight of Mario reaching under his red shirt to pull it off. It was gone in one clean maneuver, as he had done previously hundreds of times, and the moonlight streaming through the window made the sweat forming on his small pot belly glisten. Oh, now I scrolled wrongly here. Grunted Donkey Kong as he scrabbled at the tie at his neck, trying to loosen the knot. Mario leant back on Donkey Kong's waist and pulled his dungarees down and off his legs, showing off his prickly leg hair. It was fairly sparse, much unlike the brown hair covering most of Donkey Kong's body. The dungarees and tie dropped to the floor at almost the same time, and now the only piece of fabric separating the two from each other was Mario's off-white briefs. There was a fairly respectable bulge there, and Donkey Kong's eyes flicked longingly between it and his lover's eyes. "Are you ready for this golden banana?" muttered Mario in a husky voice that only came from his lips when his mushroom was as hard as this. Grunted Donkey Kong rapidly, barely containing his desire to simply rip off the briefs with his teeth right then and there. Mario reached down and slipped off his briefs, and out popped his flesh-colored plumber spine. On the side of this, Donkey Kong's own banana started to rise up like a piranha plant, nearly lifting Mario up off his waist. "Oh, Donkey Kong!
This is bestiality."
"Oh, Donkey Kong!" murmured Mario, feeling the stone-stiff growth beneath him. "Have you been eating super mushrooms, or have you always been this, big?" called Donkey Kong indignatedly. Mario raised an eyebrow. "Oh yeah? Then prove it!" Mario felt the tip of Donkey Kong's mushroom rub against his curly black ass hair, and could feel the ape preparing to one-up his syrup pipe. "Wait, my body isn't ready. I need to be lubed up first." Donkey Kong reached around to the banana pile next to the bed and tore off the skin with his teeth. He spat the peel onto the ground and reached behind Mario to squash the banana up inside his Yoshi valley. He rubbed the mushed banana back and forth, moistening up his choco mountains. Oh my god. Before looking to Mario for confirmation, the plumber prepared himself by pocketing his pipe and nodded. Donkey Kong shifted his hips and his banana split Mario's warp pipe for the first time, something that both of them had been secretly hoping for years. Mario moaned as Donkey Kong's barrel car drifted slowly up his raceway before reversing back out. After a few experimental thrusts to fully loosen Mario's castle gate, He gave into his beastly nature and began to pound away at it like he was stomping a Kremling. His meatballs were slapping hard against Mario's brown hill zone, filling the air with the sound of a piece of ham being thrown at a plate of jelly over and over again. Oh, yes! Mamma mia! Give me that donkey dong! Mario sat in between thrusts, feeling his underground caverns contract around the ape's bullet bill. He fell forward against Donkey Kong's chest, reveling in the contact between them, drawing in his musky scent. He gripped hard around the ape's shoulders with his hands, feeling the hair between his fingers as he tried to steady himself against Donkey Kong's conquest. Donkey Kong's eyes were almost rolling back into his skull. He grunted and groaned madly as he lost himself in the ecstasy of the moment, feeling the plumber he had wanted for so long finally clenched firmly around his palm tree. His muscles tensed up. Their breaths came fast and ragged like gasps, and before the both of them knew it, Donkey Kong's coconut gun was firing in spurts. As they lay there, Mario felt his Italian... What?
Are you kidding me?
No. As they lay there, Mario felt his Italian pie filling up with mushroom sauce. He wrapped his arms around Donkey Kong, who in turn wrapped his arms around him, and they embraced, feeling each other's hearts thumping against their chests. The warmth satiated something that had clawed at their insides for years before this night. Mario lifted his head and gazed into Donkey Kong's eyes. Minutes went past as wordless messages passed between them before Mario finally uttered the words they had both been feeling. I love you, Mario stammered. He thought he saw the sheen of tears in Donkey Kong's eyes for a moment.
Why is this
but
character
the ape
so hard to
blinked,
play?
and it was gone. Instead, his mouth broke into a wide smile.
Smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat.
Hummed Donkey Kong contently. They kissed one more, letting their tongues play a furious game of Twister for the last time, and fell asleep interlocked, finally at peace. Notes? Oh hell yeah, boyo! This is where the meat and gravy is at! I originally started writing this just to get back into writing, and I thought, hey, instead of just writing smut, I'll try to make it funny. And I hope I've done a good enough job to make you giggle or chuckle a bit. Halfway through I was like, I could turn this idea into something not so depraved. So I did. And you can check my works page for the actual version I tried to put some human emotion into. So yeah, the end.
Wow.
This one gets a kudos.
Why is this
I
character
actually
so
thought
hard to
Donkey
play?
Kong would be saying more, but he was just grunting like you did.
You know, okay. Looks like the